Hello and welcome back, or welcome if you're new. If you're new here, my name is Elena. I'm homeschooling mama to 3 kiddos. As you can see from the title, we're gonna prep some food today. So we are finally taking our very first ever family vacation, and we could not be more excited and blessed. We are praying at this time everybody stays healthy so that we can go and enjoy this. But in preparation for it, I wanted to get some food prepped up. So where we are staying is going to actually have a mini kitchen, but it's essentially like a full kitchen, because in space wise it won't be a full kitchen, but it will have a stove and an oven and a coffee maker. So that's exciting. I am going to be taking my slow cooker with me as well, and it is going to be for 2 full days, and then like the evening of 1 and the morning checkout. So I want to prep some food so that we are not eating out the entire time we aren't there, because for 5 people that can get very, very expensive. Not to mention it's kind of hard on your tummies when you eat out that much. So I am going to prep this food. The ideas that I came up with for vacation meal prep are a pizza pasta casserole, and then I think it's called taco rice casserole, but essentially we're gonna prep that, and I think we'll heat it up in the oven and just use it for nachos instead of just the casserole in its entirety like that, and a lasagna. So those are gonna be the 3 casserole type dish that I make. This also, I feel like you could tweak it ever so slightly if you were going on vacation and you just could take your slow cooker and you could make them into like maybe dump meals, and then that way you could just cook it in your slow cooker. But since we have the option of using the oven, I am going to go ahead and make them in casseroles, in the casserole dish, and then freeze them, and then that way we can kind of use it to help keep the cooler cold, kind of as an ice pack thing on our drive over there. So I'm sure you can hear my kiddos running around me. So I have no set plan of how we're going to prep this. I am going to try to prep for a couple of days, instead of doing it all in one day. In fact, I've already done a couple of things to pre-prep, so I will show you that here. Okay, so day 1, here's what got done. I cooked 2 pounds of ground sausage, breakfast sausage, and then I also cooked 2 pounds of ground beef. And I just have them in these meal prep containers. Oh my goodness, I'm tired. So I just have them in these containers, and they're gonna cool down, and then we'll finish prepping some more things tomorrow. I also ended up baking the 2 loaves of bread. So I just finished that off, and these are done. These will cool, and then we'll slice them and put them in bags and have them ready for sandwiches. I was also going to cook 2 pounds of ground turkey, but I forgot. I also have to make dinner tonight, not just vacation prep. So I took 1 pound of ground turkey, and I put in a little bit of black beans and some corn, and we're just gonna make burritos tonight. I'm gonna slice up some tomatoes that we have and make some burritos. But I was thinking, if your family does burritos will also travel well, and would be a great vacation type meal too. But this is day 1. I'm gonna do this in bite-sized pieces, and we also got the spaghetti sauce blended up, so that's done. For the spaghetti sauce, you absolutely can just use store-bought jar sauce, but I wanted to make some because it was simple and I had the ingredients, but I also wanted to put extra veggies in it because I just want to make sure, one of my goals is to start getting more veggies into my kiddos. I don't do a great job at always serving a side dish that includes veggies, because I have some really picky kids, and their taste buds, I keep trying to put veg in front of them, and it's not their favorite. So, you know, it's a work in progress. So I went ahead and made our spaghetti sauce. I know that I have a video somewhere on here, but essentially in the slow cooker, I just tossed in different kinds of veggie. This time I think I did spinach, zucchini, yellow squash. That might be it for the veggie. And then I just put in some spices that I thought were good Italian spices, and tomato paste and a can of tomatoes, the diced tomatoes. And then I let it simmer. I put in some water in there. I don't think I put any. I put garlic. I put tons of garlic. And then put it in the slow cooker for like half a day. And then when it was bubbling and the kitchen smelled delicious, I turned it off, let it cool down, and then you saw me blend it up. And so that's what we're going to use for our pasta sauce. But again, you could take a shortcut and do the jarred sauce as well. And so for today, day 2, what I'm going to do is cook up the pasta and try to get the casseroles, some of the casseroles actually made and done. I'm also going to cook up the ground turkey. And I have to start thinking about what's going to be for dinner tonight now, so that I don't fall into what I did yesterday, was where I was prepping food and I forgot we had to eat dinner that night. That happens to me a lot, where I'll go on a freezer like prep and then forget we have to eat dinner that night too. So I am going to start the ground turkey cooking and then get the water boiling for pasta. This is also going to get interesting because my wrist is in bad shape today, and I can barely pick up things with my right hand, and I am right-handed. So we'll see how much we can get done. Probably going to get the kids to chip in and help me pick up things and things like that. And it's okay. It'll be a whole family affair here. So let's get the ground turkey cooking and water boiling. This pasta needs 15 minutes to cook. This one says 9 minutes. So we'll put it in for maybe 13 minutes and take a look at it. And then I'll put this in a little bit later, but I'm gonna put it in the same water because we're gonna mix up pastas. When it's got 6 minutes, 7 minutes. Let's do 7 minutes. When it's got 7 minutes left, we'll put some of this in. I have another pot right next to it, this red one, with water as well for the lasagna noodles. And I've already cooked up the ground turkey. So we're kind of going along here. Okay, so my one set of pasta is done. I'm gonna put in the lasagna. This is the lasagna that we have, sorry. This is the lasagna I have. We ordered it from Azure. I'm gonna put that in, but this one says to put noodles in 4 at a time for 4 minutes each. Not really gonna do that. I'm gonna put in what I can. I may even break it into pieces. I know, gas pour, this is not the correct way to cook pasta, but I'm just trying to get it made for the family. I'm not looking forward to editing this because I already know it's gonna kind of be a mess. I'm trying to homeschool at the same time. We're finishing up a couple of our lessons and, you know, do the mom thing in the midst of this. So this is not a super organized meal prep, but let's just keep going and see what happens. I'm gonna spray the bottom of this pan because I think this is where I'm gonna put the cooked noodles. But hopefully this spray will help it not stick so much. I'm sure there's plenty that are cringing at how I am putting together this lasagna. I'm semi-cringing as well, but I'm sure it'll taste fine. My family will eat it, and so we're just winging it here. But I've got a little bit of, as you saw, the lactose-free cottage cheese because I have some dairy-sensitive people, and so we're gonna use lactose-free cottage cheese instead of ricotta. And that way it kind of boosts up the protein as well. I have some baby spinach here, more than one leaf. That's just what I happen to grab on the side here. And I am going to put a layer of that in here too, just to add a little more veg to it. And then I pre-cooked, like I showed earlier, we pre-cooked some meat. I think I'm gonna use beef, the ground beef for the lasagna. I also, when I was younger, I used to do, it was called, I think the recipe said like a Mexican lasagna, but instead of spaghetti sauce, you would use salsa, and you could do chicken, and that was delicious too. But because this is, my kiddos are they're really sensitive to heat, especially my littles, I am going to just do the traditional spaghetti sauce. So we're just gonna layer this. I'm not gonna put a layer of cheese until the very top, because I only have a little bit of raw cheese left, and I wanna make it stretch as far as I can. I don't know how many layers I'm gonna get with this, but I'm just gonna layer until we run out of ingredients. I want to use half of that ground beef for something else. So again, I'm just trying to make sure that it fills our bellies, but I think the cottage cheese, like I said, with the extra protein in there, that should help too. So let's keep layering. Okay, so I know it's probably not, it's far from perfect, but in prepping the food, I'm getting super excited. I feel so incredibly blessed that the place we're staying at is gonna have a place for us to cook this and that we get to bring our own food, so yay. I am going to, like I said, wait for my son to shred the cheese, and then we'll sprinkle cheese over this, but for now, I think I can just cover it with foil. I'm not gonna do the saran wrap yet until we put the cheese on it, and then freeze it. Okay, so this is the pan that had the noodles, the pasta, the lasagna noodles, which are pasta. Here is what my pasta has been drained and looks like. I am going to just use this pan because it's already been sprayed, and kind of, again, we're just winging it with the pizza pasta casserole. I do have a recipe, but if you're familiar with me, everything is kind of a guideline. We don't always follow it exactly. Oh, that didn't even, we're gonna need way more pasta in here. So I've got my oldest down here now, and he is shredding that cheese for me, which is awesome. Okay, my son is rinsing his bowl next to me, but the top part of our pasta casserole is heavy on the pasta. I wish I would have done the bottom heavier, but it is what it is. I need to get some more sauce. So far I've used up 1 full jar of this, and then I had a tiny bit in the other one. But we're gonna put pasta sauce on, a little more cheese, and then top with pepperoni. Actually, I think we're gonna put pasta sauce on, and then the pepperoni, and then the cheese. And then that way the cheese can kind of help keep the pepperoni stuck to the casserole here. I feel like my sauce could also, like I could add even more water to it because it's pretty thick, but I'm not going to. I think it's really thick because the extra veg and stuff in there. But if you needed to stretch this even further, it's nice to know that it's thick enough you could. And then you saw I went ahead and I added in some more spinach in here. I hadn't originally planned to put some in, but I had some left over still and I want to use it up. And any way we can get a little extra veg into our diets, I feel like why not? This is heavy, so that means there's plenty of layers in here, and hopefully it'll fill us up. Ooh, I think we're gonna have to do this maybe this way. Okay. Yeah, I lost the little cutter thing that slides. We can't find it, so we have to use the scissors, but it works. So I'm gonna put the plastic wrap on, and then I'm gonna put foil over that. Change of plans. I was going to make the taco rice in a casserole dish, but I'm gonna put it in a bag instead because I already have 2 casseroles, and if it's really warm up there, I don't know if I want to have the oven on too much. So I'm just gonna put it in here, and then we can put it in the slow cooker to warm up. This essentially we're gonna use for nachos dough. So my plan was, again, we're winging it. I'm going to open up this can of crushed tomatoes. Oh, do we want to use this one? It's crushed tomatoes with basil, but maybe I just want to use I think I just want to use a smaller can of tomatoes. So for this, I am going to put in a can of diced tomatoes. So just a 14.5-ounce can. This is from Costco. I'm gonna use the ground turkey. This is 2 pounds in this bowl here. I don't know if we're gonna need the whole 2 pounds. Let me put in about half and see what it looks like. That's probably a little more than half. I think that'll be good. And then I have some cauliflower rice just to get, again, some veg in there. If your family eats beans, you can throw in a can of beans in here as well. Green chilies, if they're okay with spice, but we are not everybody in the family can eat beans, so we're not putting that in there. And we're gonna eat it on corn tortilla chips. Otherwise, I'd probably put corn in there too. So I think we're just gonna do this. And then I'm actually, because I just put in regular tomatoes and the cauliflower, let's put in a little more seasoning. So I have some onion powder. Since I'm not gonna take all my seasonings with me, we're just gonna eyeball it. So onion powder, I did season the ground turkey. I don't think I showed. I think I just seasoned it with salt, cumin, and oregano. Oh, and onion powder. So probably these 3 that I'm using right now. So I'm also gonna add in some garlic, I think. And then when we go to, just to give it more flavor, so I didn't finish that thought. And then when we go to serve this, we'll just warm it up and then put it over nachos or over tortilla chips with cheese. And this will be a lunch for us one day. Okay, And then I think for today, whoops, that's backwards. We're gonna put together, this one's gonna be super easy. We're gonna have taco salad for another lunch, I think. Well, that's the plan. So in here, I'm just going to, again, put in the ingredients, and then that's sausage. I'm gonna take the rest of my ground beef, which looks like a good amount, which is great. Plop that in there. So I know that I left a little bit of fat in there. If you can see the white bits, that's a little bit of the fat, but this ground beef is from our local, one of the local farms here. So this fat, I feel like it's good healthy fat. So we're gonna, it's a little bit, and then it'll be fine. It'll help cook it along too, add some flavor. I'm going to put that in with some frozen corn. And then we'll throw this also in the slow cooker, or if they even, I don't know if they'll have pots and pans there. I just don't want to take my whole kitchen, so I'm not taking one of our pans, but we can put this in the slow cooker the next day and heat it up, and then we'll buy a bagged salad and just put this on top, and this will be the protein part of our salad. So we can have taco salad, nachos, pizza casserole, and the lasagna. 4 meals. Halfway prepped, not bad. Okay, so so here's what we got done today. We got this taco salad mix done, the taco rice-ish for our nachos, and then this is the pizza pasta casserole, and this is the lasagna. I know they look like practically the same. I'm gonna pop those, actually I'm gonna pop everything in the freezer. I've got a ton of dishes to get done, and I think the camera's crooked. When is it not? So I have, all that I have left to prep is the pancake muffins with sausage. We're just gonna make pancake mix. I think I'm even gonna take a shortcut and use like the Kodiak mix, so I don't even have to mix the flour and all that stuff together. And then throw it in sausage, and then bake it in cupcake liners instead of flipping pancakes. And so we'll have like sausage pancake muffins. And then I also think, oh, I wanna do breakfast sandwiches. So those are the only 2 things I think that I have left to prep. Feeling pretty good. I hope it works out. I'm gonna not do those today though. I'm gonna wash the dishes that I have here and then give my wrist a break. This was just my little dry erase board to remind me of what was left. So we got this done and we got that done. Yeah, just pancake muffins. Good work. Good work, team. A little bit of protein pancake mix in here. It's just the Kodiak mix. So I'm gonna use that up. I have another bag. I think we're gonna just use this. The leftover sausage that I have cooked, I have quite a bit. So I think I can make probably 2 dozen. And I've got the oven preheating at 350. I'm gonna add 4 eggs to this. I have about 4 cups of mix in here. So I'm gonna add 4 eggs, my sausage, and then I was gonna do milk, but I think we're just gonna do water. And that's just for ease for me. And then a tiny bit of maple syrup. I think the first time that I made these, I was making them and tracking my macros, and I added some fat-free cheese as well. But because we have some dairy-sensitive people, I am not going to add the cheese this time. I'm going to do everything except the cheese, and then replace the the milk with water. So there's 2 cups of water. I'm going to mix it and see the consistency of it first. So that's about 30 grams or maybe 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. You can always add more. We just don't like it too sweet. And then of course the morning of, if you wanted to add like melted butter on top, or just, butter and let it melt, that would be an option. I think I'm gonna add another cup of water and see how the consistency looks. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. So we're gonna put these in the muffin liners and get them in the oven. Okay, they are done, and they made about 3 dozen. And I say about because these silicone pans are a little bit bigger than, especially these square ones, are a little bit bigger than these muffins. So these two are probably comparable. Don't judge me for my overused pans here, but these are a little bit bigger, and that's okay. So we made like 3 dozen, and that's gonna be great. I think this is all I'm gonna do today. Tomorrow I plan to head out and get the stuff for breakfast sandwiches, and I don't think those should take too long to prepare. Okay, so I apologize because I can't keep the camera straight, but also I forgot to film the breakfast sandwiches. We made breakfast sandwiches as well and took those with us, but it was super simple. I know that I made breakfast sandwiches on here before. We just took English muffins I bought from Costco, cut them in half. I made eggs, and I ended up making eggs and egg whites. I scrambled them up together, and then I put them in our muffin liners, but I only filled them like a quarter way through, and then baked them. And then that way we had like little circles, and we could put them in the egg sandwich. And then at Costco they also had uncured ham, uncured Canadian bacon, I think it's what it's called. And so we just put that in there. I wrapped them up in plastic and then foil and put them in the freezer. And we took everything from the freezer in a cooler up to where we were. We were about 3.5, 4 hours away. Everything stayed mostly frozen. We had a bag of ice and everything stayed mostly frozen. We're already back from vacation now, so I can kind of give you a recap of how the food went. The casseroles we did put in the fridge, but they stayed super cold because I had frozen them first. So I would give yourself, even though we put them in the fridge, they were frozen in the middle. So give yourself time to let them defrost, either if you want to put it on the counter for a little bit, or give yourself that extra time to bake in the oven. But it worked out great. We were all craving like hearty homemade food, if that makes sense. Sometimes when you, I don't know, sometimes when you go out and you have too much takeout food or takeaway, it kind of starts to wear on you a little bit and you just crave home cooking. So it worked out well, because I think one day we went out to lunch, we treated the kids, we went out to lunch in the nearby town. And then when we came back to our room, we were able to cook one of the casseroles and for dinner, and it worked out well. We also bought some bagged salads, and these are still my notes from the cooking that I did. So I ended up cooking this, I think I showed you, instead of doing a casserole, I put it in a bag, this taco rice, and we did end up eating that on tortilla chips as nachos. And then the taco salad worked out well, that defrosted well in the bag. We even were able to bring food home, which was great. I made the sausage pancake muffins and we totally forgot to pack them, but then we had like breakfast for the next day that we were here, which was nice because I was still tired, still unpacking, catching up on laundry, that type of thing. But I hope that this video was somewhat helpful to you, give you some ideas on maybe dinner or just prepping your freezer. Maybe if you get it to go away this summer and can pack up food and have access to an oven, or you know, take your slow cooker, what have you, these will help. Thank you so much for hanging out with me though and getting this done. I really appreciate you taking your time out and spending it here with me. And as always, if you don't know or just need to be reminded, let me be the one to tell you that you are deeply and truly loved and so appreciated. I really appreciate you hanging out here with me. Thanks for watching.